Hi, I'm Jody. Welcome to Let's Knit. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do ribbing. Ribbing is alternating knit stitches and purl stitches in the same row. Let's get started. Remember, the knit stitch, your working yarn will be at the back of your work, and the purl stitch, your yarn needs to be in the front of your work. So we'll have to be switching the position every time we switch from knit stitch to purl stitch. I'm going to show you the 1x1 ribbing today. That's alternating one knit stitch with one purl stitch in the same row. Let's get started. Knit the first stitch with your working yarn and back. And then your next stitch is going to be a purl stitch. So you have to get that working yarn out to the front of your work. So you want to make sure you come between the two needle tips and out to the front. Then you're going to purl your stitch. And now we need to switch back again and put the working yarn to the back. Don't go over your needle, go between the two needles. Knit front to back, around and out. Purl, bring your working yarn between the needle tips and purl. Between to the back and knit. Come between to the front and purl. If you go over your needle, you end up creating an extra stitch, and you don't want to do that. So remember, when you're going to change your work from the purl stitch to the knit stitch, go between your needles to the back. Do your knit stitch. Come back to the front between the needles and purl your stitch. To the back and knit. To the front and purl. So that's your first row of ribbing. Now let's make a second row. So as I explained in the other videos, your knit stitch has this V shape to it. And the purl stitch has this bump. So if you're careful, you can read your stitches. This first stitch is going to be a knit stitch. And there's the bump, so your work comes to the front and you do a purl stitch. To the back, so there's the V, knit stitch. To the front, because there's the bump, and a purl stitch. Knit. To the front, purl. To the back, knit. To the front, purl. Let me quickly do another row or two and you'll see how this ribbing develops. You could do any combination of knit stitches and purl stitches. Some common ones are a 1 by 1, which is 1 knit stitch and 1 purl stitch. Another could be a 2 by 2, where you have 2 knit stitches and 2 purl stitches. You can also have something like a 1 by 3 or a 2 by 3. They give different effects for each one that you use. Typically on a pair of mittens or a hat, you would have either a 1 by 1 or a 2 by 2. Okay, I think we can see a little bit of what's going on here. You stretch it out. Maybe you can see it better in this example over here. Here's a sample of garter stitch, stockinette stitch, and the ribbing here. I hope that's helpful. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.